Good afternoon, children. So today again I am here with another chapter from your text Flamingo for class 12. So let's see what's it. So today we are going to deal with a poem titled Keeping Quiet, and it is written by Pablo Neruda. Okay, so what comes to your mind when you hear about the title Keeping Quiet? Does keeping quiet mean anything? Does it signify something, being quiet? So everyone might have said to you to be quiet. And do you think it's necessary for our life to be quiet for some time? Is really necessary for our life? So let's see what's happening in the poem as such, and it's written by Pablo Neruda. So this is a very familiar picture. It suggests silence, isn't it? So this is Neruda. He was born in the year 1904 and he died in the year 1973. So this is the picture of Neruda. And something about the poet, his name is pretty long, as you can see. Ricardo Eliezer Naftali Reyes Basalto. Okay, that is his name, and he is better known by his pen name, okay, pseudonym or pen name, and later this name became a legal one, the legal name, and he became to be known as Pablo Neruda. And what was he? He was a Nobel Prize winning Chilean poet. Okay, so he was a Nobel Prize winner, and he is a Chilean poet. Not only a Chilean poet, but a diplomat as well as a politician too. So Pablo Neruda is a Nobel Prize winner, Chilean poet, a diplomat as well as a politician. And Neruda wrote in a variety of styles. He wrote in a variety of styles, including many of the surrealistic poems, historical epics, overtly political manifestos, a prose autobiography, and he have also written many passionate love poems also. So about his writing, he wrote in a variety of styles, including the surrealist poems, historical epics, and political manifestos, a prose autobiography, and many of the passionate love poems too. And something special about him is that he wrote in green ink, which was his personal symbol. And what does that ink, green ink, symbolize about? For desire and hope. So he wrote in green ink, which was his personal symbol. It's personal symbol, okay? Symbol for desire and hope. And his writings, when we consider his writings are very simple. Wherein lies their beauty, and this simplicity brings in the beauty of his poems. And one of the most famous, well-known collection of his poetry is titled as 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair. Okay, so the collection of poems is 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair, and it was published in the year 1924. Yeah, and he won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. Okay, Nobel Prize for Literature was won in the year 1971. Okay, and he is often considered the national poet of Chile, and his works have been popular and influential worldwide. So, what was he considered as? He was considered as the national poet of Chile, and his works have been popular and influential all through the world. He is very famous throughout the world. Okay, so here what is to remember? The collection 20 Love Poems and Songs of Despair, published in the year 1924, and he won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. And Neruda was considered as the national poet of Chile, and his works have been popular throughout the world. And about the ink that he used is the green ink, which showed, it's a personal symbol which showed, represented his desire and hope as such. And his writings are very simple, and this simplicity brings in the beauty in his poetry. And speaking about this particular poem that we are going to study, that is Keeping Quiet, it is originally written in Spanish, and the essence of this poem is based on introspection and retrospection. Okay, so it is it was originally written in Spanish, and the essence of this poem is based on introspection, which means to look into ourselves, look into ourselves. We have to identify ourselves. We have to have a bond with other person also. Means we have to look into the other person also. Okay, so it is based on introspection and retrospection. And the poet feels that some soul searching is needed for us to be at peace with ourselves and others. And what is the poet feeling, or what does the poet feel? That some soul, there is some soul which is searching, that is searching is needed for us to be at peace with ourselves and others. Okay, so we have to identify, we have to go into ourselves and search. And what is it for? To find out, to be peace, to have a unity with ourselves and with the others. Okay, it will help us to understand ourselves, and also to help us to understand the others also, the person who is in front of us, or any of the other people in the society as such. And the poem talks about the necessity of quiet introspection. Quiet introspection. So I just started the topic by asking the question, what is the necessity of being quiet for a while? Okay, is there really a necessity to be quiet for a while? So what is the poet saying through this poem? He says that the necessity of quiet introspection, we have to be quiet, sit calmly and introspect, look into ourselves. And what will it help us? It will help people to understand themselves and will create the feeling of mutual love and relationship. Okay, so nowadays people are very busy. We are in a very busy world, and nobody has time for each other, isn't it? So the poet feels that it is really essential to be very quiet and to look into ourselves, so that we will be able to understand ourselves and also be able to create a mutual love love for the other, and a good relationship with the other people also. Okay, so that is why the poet is giving stress to the necessity of being quiet through this poem. Okay, so this is written in Spanish originally, and it's based on introspection and retrospection. And the poet feels that some soul searching is needed for us to be at peace with ourselves and others. The poem talks about the necessity of quiet introspection, and it will help. What will it help us to? And going on either in the physical manner, or it is a war between what you can say, between nature and human being also. Many of the calamities are appearing here, maybe because because it can be called as a war between the man and nature, isn't it? So all these are causing, these imbalance are being caused because, or these discard and war is being caused just because of the imbalance between man and nature. There is no proper understanding between man and nature. And quiet introspection will establish a spiritual and physical union that is most desirable for the survival of the earth and of human beings. Okay? Quiet introspection will establish a spiritual and physical union. So, when we are sitting, just like meditation, okay? So, when we are sitting quiet and introspecting ourselves, it will establish a spiritual and physical union. Okay, spiritual, both mental and physical union that is most desirable, that is most suitable for the survival of the earth and the human beings. So, for the survival of the human beings and for the survival of the earth as such, what is necessary? The spiritual and the physical union between is very essential. Okay? So, it is for that quiet introspection is really necessary. So, what is being said here? By quiet introspection, the poet doesn't mean that we should be totally inactive. We should participate, or there should be a full involvement with the life as such. And the reason for the discard and war is the imbalance between man and nature. And the poet says that quiet introspection will establish a physical and spiritual union between physical and spiritual union, which is most desirable for the nature, for the earth as well as for the human being as such. Okay. So now we will move on to the poem. We will just have a reading of the poem as such. So, Keeping Quiet, Pablo Neruda. So the poem begins. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green was with grass, was with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Love is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could perhaps a huge silence might interrupt the sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Okay, so that's the poem about. So you can read the poem. So we will have a reading again. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Victory with no survivors would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us, and when everything seems dead and later proves to be now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Okay, so this is the poem. Now we'll move on to the explanation of the poem I said. And this poem is written in the free verse, which means that there is no particular, the poem is not divided into stanzas. It depends upon the way we read or we can interpret the things. Okay. So in the first part, now we'll count 12 and we'll all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Okay? So, what is the poet saying in this part? The poet asks everyone to count up to 12 in their mind. The number 12 here represents the hours, 12 hours of the day or the 12 months of the year. He wants all of us to be calm and still. Okay? He wants us to be very calm and still. People across the nation have to unite together so they shall not speak their own languages. Rather, they all shall keep quiet and speak the language of silence. Okay? So the poem begins, the poet asks everyone to sit somewhere and to count up to 12 in their minds. And as I have said earlier, the 12 represents the 12 hours of a day or the 12 months of a year. And he wants all of us to be very calm and still without moving. And people across the world have to unite together. And so what does he want? So they shall not speak their own languages. Rather, they all shall keep quiet and speak the language of silence. Okay? So the whole world have to get united, and so you know that the whole world speaks different kinds of languages. So the people over here won't be speaking any of their languages, but what will they be doing? They shall be keeping quiet and they shall speak the language of silence. So the people all around the world will be now only speaking the language of silence and no other languages will be used. This will bring unity among all the humans on the face of the earth. For at least one moment, no one shall move his arms either to signal or to fight or argue with each other. So, what is the poet saying here? When we are keeping quiet, this will bring unity among all humans on the face of the earth. And for at least one moment, no one shall move his arms. Here, the arms doesn't suggest the hand as such, but here the poet wants to say arms also arms and means or it also mentions the weapons that is being used for the war. Okay, so no one will be moving arms here suggests that no one will be fighting or no one will be taking out any of the weapons. Okay, so this will, the calmness, being quiet will bring unity among humans on the face of the earth, and for at least one moment, no one will be moving their arms either for signaling or to fight or to argue with each other. It suggests both the things. Okay, they are not at all moving. They are not fighting with each other. They are not arguing with any other. Okay, so nothing is to be done. And the poet here requests everyone to count till 12 in their own mind and to stop for a while. Okay, so what is the poet asking here or requesting here? That everyone will be counting up to 12 in their own mind and they will be stopping for a while. Okay, and the poet is again saying maybe this 12 referred by the poet is the 12 hours of the clock or the 12 months of a day. Okay, of the 12 hours of the clock, 12-hour clock. Okay, and he wants everyone to stop and calm down. The poet urges everyone not to speak any language. So he is forcing that nobody will be speaking any of the languages. As we all know that there are different languages spoken in different parts of the earth which sometimes become a barrier in the way for peace. Okay, so this shows a kind of differences, isn't it? So we know that different languages are spoken throughout the world and sometimes this becomes a barrier in the way for bringing in peace. And so what is the poet asking? So the poet asks people not to speak. Not only this, he also wants us to stop moving our arms. By using the word arms, he means the weapons which are being used by different countries to raise war against each other. So basically the poet is demanding peace from all of us. Okay? So he asks people not to speak and not to raise their arms, and here by arms the poet wants to say that the people will not be using the weapons. Okay? Because with these weapons one country is raising war against the other country, and so basically the poet is demanding peace from all of us. Okay? Yeah? Just we'll have a look into this stanza again. So now we'll count up to 12 and we'll all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. So the poet asks everyone to count up to 12 in their mind. The number 12 represents the hours of the day or of the clock or the months of a year. And he wants all of us to be very calm and still. And people across the nations have to unite together so that they shall not speak their own language, rather they all shall keep quiet and speak the language of silence. And what will this bring about? It brings unity among the humans on the face of the earth. For at least one moment, no one shall move his or her arms, either to signal or to fight or to argue with each other. And the poet here requests everyone to count till 12 in their own mind and to stop for a while. Maybe this 12 referred by the poet is the 12 hours of the clock or the 12 months in an year. He wants everyone to stop and calm down. The poet urges everyone not to speak any language. As we all know, there are different languages spoken in different parts of the earth which sometimes become a barrier in our way for peace. And so he asks people not to speak. Not only this, he also wants us to stop moving our arms. And by using the word arms, what does he mean? He means the weapons which are used by different countries to raise a war against each other. So basically the poet is demanding peace from all of us. And let's see what are the various literary devices used in this stanza. Assonance, you know that it is the use of consonant sounds in the same line. So use of vowel sound O and E. Now we will count to 12, not move our arm so much. Okay? So that becomes the assonance. Anaphora. Anaphora means two consecutive lines starting with the same word. Okay? Anaphora means two consecutive lines starting with the word, same word. Okay, so here we have let's. Okay, the word let's is being repeated consecutively in the two lines. Let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second. And the next one is alliteration. You know that the repetition of the consonant sound at the start of two or more closely placed words. Okay, so we will. So W sound is being repeated. Here means repeatedly. Okay. So moving on to the next stanza. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Okay? So, when everything will come to a standstill, it will be a rare situation. No one will be in a rush. There will be no engines running. Okay, so here it would be an exotic moment. It will be a rare moment, situation when everything will be coming to a standstill. When everything will be become still. Okay, it would be a very rare situation, and nobody will be in a rush. There will be no engines running. Okay, we can say that the present scenario is just like this. We are not nowadays we are not in a rush, isn't it? Otherwise everyone would be rushing. So the rush, because of this disease, the rush have corona, this particular rush has become to a standstill. And during, you might have observed, during the period of lockdown, isn't it? Everything have come to a standstill. So this particular poem is very suitable for the present scenario, isn't it? So it would be a very rare situation, and there will be no rush, there will be no engines, so no vehicles running here and there. Okay, and everyone will be calm and quiet, united with each other in a strange atmosphere. Okay, so everyone in the world will be calm and quiet, and they will be united with each other in a strange atmosphere. Okay, so coming to the present scenario, we are now finding time for our family, isn't it? We are spending a lot of time with our family. This is a rare situation that is happening over here, and we are all united again. Many of the olden games and many discussions are coming out in the house nowadays, isn't it? Yeah, and it will be strange because it has never happened earlier. No person would be harming any other living beings either for food or to earn his livelihood. So here, what is the poet saying? It will be strange. Why is it strange? Because this has never happened ever earlier, isn't it? And no person would be harming any of the living being either for food or to earn his livelihood. And all the people who work endlessly will get some time to look at their injuries and the damage they have caused to their bodies. Okay, so here we have seen fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. Okay, so whales are being hunted down either for food or for trade, isn't it? And that is what is meant by nobody will be harming any living being either for food or to earn the livelihood. And in the next line, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. And what does it mean? People who work endlessly will just get some time to look at the injuries and the damage that they have caused in their body. This can be interpreted in another way also. The people who are running to gather wealth or to gather anything, the pleasures, the material pleasures of the world, isn't it? So they would be stopping and they would be looking at themselves and they would be identifying what have they got till now. Okay, they would be having time to introspect what they have earned till now after running without endlessly in a very busy manner. What have they earned and what have they done to themselves. And the point says that it would be a rare situation when there will be no engines working. Here he wants to say that if everything comes to the standstill, it would be a very different moment. Okay, so he wants to say that if everything comes to a standstill, it would be a different moment, just like we have experienced how a lockdown period will be. Okay, everything has come to a standstill, and that is a very rare situation that we have faced. And if all the engines like the vehicles and the machines stop, then there will be a sudden strain situation as the world will experience a sudden calmness. So if all the engines like the vehicles or the machines stop, what will happen? There will be a sudden and a strange situation and the world will be experience a sudden calmness, a sudden silence throughout the world. And people will not be in a rush to achieve material things one after another. So as I said, people are always running, they are greedy, always they are greedy, isn't it? So they are in the way of or at the path of running and they want to earn or get many of the material pleasures one after another. So if you get a cycle, the next thing that you want will be a bike, and after that the desire of a man never stops. He or she wants a car, after that something a better car, isn't it? So the want never ends, the desire never ends. So that's what the poet is speaking, that people will not be in a rush to achieve material things one after another. And further, the poet says that the fisherman will also stop and not harm whales in the sea. So the poet is saying that the fisherman will also stop fishing or hunting the whales and he will not harm the whales in the sea. This means that the poet is urging everyone not to harm the animals. Here he gives the example of whales which are being hunted for the purpose of food or trade. So the poet is just urging the point that people should not harm each other, people should not harm even the animals too. Because what does it suggest? The example that he have given, that the fisherman will not hunt the whales, because the whales are being hunted down either for food or for trade. So everything will come to a standstill and the whole world will become calm. And he also wants people to calm down so that they can stop and see what they have achieved or lost. Okay, so he also wants people to calm down, and so that what can they do? They can stop and see what they have achieved or what they have lost. Okay, and for this he gives the example of the man who gathers salt whose hands are hurt. So when we gather the salt, our hands will get hurt, isn't it? So the poet wants to give the example to show that what people have achieved or lost, and for that he shows the example of the person who gathers salt whose hands are hurt. And here he wants everyone to stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such materialistic things. Okay, and what does he show here? here he wants everyone to stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such material things. So if we have to earn something, we have to lose something, isn't it? Okay, in order to get something, we have to lose something. So this shows that how, while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such material things. If you have to earn something, we should have to lose something. So this shows what, by earning something, what have been lost by earning such materialistic things. And the literary devices used in this stanza is alliteration. Be would, W is being repeated. Sudden strangeness, S is repeated. His hurt hands, X sound is repeated. Okay. So just again revising this stanza. So the poet says that everything will come to a standstill. It would be an exotic moment. No one will be in a rush. There will be no engines running. Everyone will be calm and quiet, united with each other in a strange atmosphere. It will be strange because it has never happened earlier. No person would be harming any other living being, either for food or to earn his livelihood. All the people who work endlessly will get some time to look at their injuries and the damage they have caused into their body. The poet says that it would be a rare situation when there will be no engines working. Here he wants to say that if everything comes to a standstill, it would be a very different moment. If all engines like the vehicles and machines stop, then there will be a sudden strange situation as the world will experience a sudden calmness. People will not be in a rush to achieve material things one after another. Further, the poet says that the fishermen will also stop and not harm whales in the sea. This means that the poet is urging everyone not to harm the animals. Here he gives the example of whales which are being hunted for the purpose of food or trade. And he also wants people to calm down so that they can stop and see what they have achieved or lost. For this, he gives the example of the man who gathers salt, whose hands are hurt. Here he wants everyone to stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such material state. And the alliterations or the devices is alliteration. W, S sound is repeated and X sound is repeated. So for the time being, we will stop here and we will be continuing with the poem in the next class, that is on Monday at 12 noon again. Okay. For the meantime, you have to, you can just have an introspection about yourself. Okay. So the task for today is that you have to sit somewhere in a calm place, close your eyes and just introspect yourself. What are the good qualities in you and what are the bad qualities in you? Okay, just have an introspection. What are the things that I should change? Okay, and what are the plus points in me, etc. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day.